everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Three Dads and a Console, where the dads talk about all the video game news that you need to know about. And also, this show is kid friendly, so no earmuffs needed. We have a lot to go over today, but first, I'm Wobble Plays, and we are also here by with Court Lalon. Hello, Court.
Hello, Waba. Are you it's very cyberpunk background there.
I picked it just for that reason, and it's
Oh.
it's also re-optimized after a year. This background, true story.
Boom. Hash it
Some
up.
would almost say that it's truly released this week.
Oh,
Mm.
the re-release.
No, we'll go with it's the only release. As the first time playing it, I'm counting this as the release.
Fair. And we are also joined with the one and only Pez. Hello, Pez.
Good day, mates. How we doing tonight?
Oi.
Wait,
So today we
Boy.
have a lot of things we want to talk about, and most of it isn't game related. We're not talking about hockey, surprisingly. We want to talk about nerd movies. That's probably going to be the main topic of the show because there's a lot of news out right now. But before we do that, Court was kind of alluding to it. Cyberpunk, a reoccurring theme on this pod, is back and in full force. Court has the details.
Yeah, so it was Xbox kind of let the cat out of the bag, even on my console. All of a sudden I got an update on my screen. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then all of a sudden, boom, the game updates, nothing changes, and then all of a sudden the icon has an XS on it out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you go on the internet and everybody in the world's like Cyberpunk. Now the game released in 2020 and it was janky and it was broken. Let's be the caveat here. It was janky and broken on everything, but really janky and broken on the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4. On the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, it ran. People enjoyed it, but it didn't run so well.
Mm-hmm.
So they have re-released it, and they do have improved graphics. So you can get ray tracing. You can get all those great, beautiful things on your next gen console on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but you'll only get 30 frames per second. Or you can play it with 60 frames per second with no ray tracing on the Xbox Series X, not on the PlayStation 5. So on the PlayStation 5, it's doing the whole, glow up thing, or checkerboard, I believe is what Sony calls it. It's their terminology when they can't get you good graphic resolutions. We do this checkerboard thing. So on the current gen the Xbox Series S does not offer any ray tracing whatsoever, and is locked to performance mode at 1440p resolution up to 30 frames per second. Frame rate specifically has attached ire from players who are long for the 60 frames per second. So yes, everybody's very mad about the Xbox Series S version of the game. Cyberpunk Update 1.5 brought dozens of new features, visual enhancements, quality of life improvements, and fixes the open world sci-fi RPG. Xbox Series X and PS5 enjoy the bulk of improvements with 4K at 60 frames per second support, ray tracing, and more. Now, this is a Windows Central article. You do not get 4K 60 frames with ray tracing. It
No.
makes it sound like it. You do not. You have to choose between performance or quality. I've looked at both. The 30 frames per second with the ray tracing, I do it just to walk around the downtown when it's nighttime because it looks unbelievable. And then you could just switch back to the 60 frames per second when you're doing any combat. So I'm actually going back and forth with it because the game looks beautiful. And I understand why everybody wants to be in this world because how good the game looks. I'm about 3 hours into the game. I haven't finished the prologue. So spoiler alert for a game a year old. I haven't my buddy isn't dead yet. But I'm thoroughly enjoying myself with the game. I I truly do feel that this is a re-release. This is like the original date it should have been, but we all know how it works with investors. Games get put out when they shouldn't, especially when there was so much money put behind with Xbox putting out consoles at the time of the Xbox One X, and everybody, all this marketing engine that was behind it, they had no choice. But truly, this is obviously when the game should have been released. I don't know. I think it works out in Xbox's favor that this game got released. Shadow drop this week. Xbox put a lot of marketing behind it because there's a certain game coming out on Friday for PlayStation that's just gonna
Mm-hmm.
destroy everything. If you have a PlayStation, you're gonna play this game. It looks beautiful. Horizon Forbidden West comes out on Friday. I personally am not buying it day and date, because I'm playing Cyberpunk right now. So I was like, my new thing is I don't want to jump into other games. So I'll wait down the road to get this game on sale. But Horizon looks beautiful. I know there's a lot of like, you know, console war people doing screenshot stuff on it. Stop it. You're being a loser. Um,
Yeah.
like seriously,
Pez.
like this
Hey,
whole
what can I
like
say?
oh
I can't play it on my OLED Switch. I don't want to play it.
exactly. The screen grab people are they're the biggest losers I've
What a
ever
bunch
seen
of
on the internet.
nerds. Unless you listen to us, in which case, thank you for your support.
No,
No,
I don't care.
if you do listen to us, stop being such a nerd and get on our level, okay?
Yeah, just play the game,
Freaking
have fun.
nerd.
No, the level isn't much higher than
So-
where you are
It's
now.
not.
Don't worry.
I got Cyberpunk for $10 on sale, which is hilarious. Waba, you got it for $10 as well.
I did. I have it in the steelbook that's empty, but they gave me the
Beauty.
steelbook too. I played a decent amount. So I got past the prologue. I started messing around, and there was one. I know I shared the story of like like an automatic car bashes into you, and I thought it was a glitch, but it was turned out to be a plot point because everything crapped out, and that's where I was like, I'm done until they fix it. So I'll probably revisit this back in the summer. Not in I say summer, maybe like spring. But I am excited. I've actually been waiting for this to work. And
It
I
does.
know like that's like the biggest thing. Like I don't care if the graphics are, I play Fallout. I'm okay with that. So as long as I'm like at that point, it's just for me it was unplayable. I actually returned it and then I rebought it for $10. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I want to get back into that world. I want to see what happens. I'm probably just going to start over and because there was a lot of the prologue is very good looking, even though I have a not super new monitor. I was playing like an old janky version, but I don't know. I'm excited to get into it, and especially with what I've been hearing.
Story's
Like
great.
that's what we need.
Are you gonna play it, Pez?
Yeah, I have
On your
the
PC?
I'm actually probably gonna play it on my Series X. Because I have
It
the
runs
trial
better on that, by the way.
on the
These are
Series
just
X.
facts. Yeah. Than the
Um,
PlayStation so far.
I'll probably play it on my Series X only because it's something I'll probably get cheap, like the physical copy pretty cheap.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
I'll go that route.
It's on sale right now, 50% off in the store for you guys in the US. I think it's like 20 something bucks
It's
on
like
the
30
Xbox
bucks,
store.
yeah.
It's so cheap. It's cheaper than it should be, but it's because of all that all
Well,
that stuff that
Like I said,
happened.
it works out for Xbox because they put out a stinker in Crossfire X. Spoiler that I played, it's bad, really bad.
Did you play
Oh
the
my
single
God.
player as well?
No, so that wasn't working at the time, and now I've deleted it off my console, and it doesn't deserve my time to put it back on. Even though, in all fairness, I just finished Control. What a game, made by Remedy, same studio. But from what I hear, you only get to play a 4-hour snippet of it, and then you have to pay for the other one.
Oof.
And everybody's like, "Yeah,
it.
no," and you don't
Nope.
get any achievements, so I'm out.
Yeah. That
It's
works
just
well
it's
for
not gonna
Godfall.
happen. So I'm playing Cyberpunk right now until I finish it, and people are telling me it's like a 60-hour, 90-hour game. So I ain't playing anything else except I'm playing Sleeping Dogs, but that's on my work console. When I work, I get my Xbox back tomorrow, by the way.
Sleeping Dogs is one of those games that I never have an excuse to talk about, but I could go on for days. It's so
It's
good.
so good.
I
great
platinumed
game.
it twice, dude. So I platinumed the PS3 version, and then I went and got the definitive version because it was so good, and I platinumed that too. That
It's
game
such a
is
good game.
Lava
Yeah.
crushing it out here.
I just so this was before I was in like content creation. I like that game so much. I wrote an email to the studio thanking them for making this game.
Did
Like
you
I didn't
really?
have to. I didn't tweet it out. I wasn't looking for clout. It was so good and unexpected. I don't like open world games. Like, I know it's like open world GTA-ish. Like not really. It's kind of toned
But
down,
it's
which is
very
what I like.
playing it now, realizing it's so small.
It is. And like I think that's why I was okay with it, where it's got the illusion of size, the world, and like I'm okay, that's what I want. But man, that game's so good. Oh my gosh.
Soundtrack is so good.
Dude, two of the songs are on my like regular rotation. It's so good. And this was before like they came out. I had to go on like YouTube and like rip the certain part. I mean, get it legally. I bought the certain part from the artist. Because how am I supposed to look it up, dude? This was like I don't know if Shazam was a thing when I played it. So like this song's in Chinese. I can't just like I don't know what it's called. And frankly, I still don't know what it's called, but it slaps. And that's from someone who listens to a lot of like Eastern music. Anyway, I have a lot of strong opinions about that game. Love it.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a
Clearly.
All positive.
It's a phenomenal game. So those are the two games I'm playing. I need, so I have where we do the show. It's my office, so I have my work laptop here, and when I'm on lunch or I take a mental break, I can play a game. So I usually play NHL, which
Yup.
that game is dead according to Waba's stream today.
It
And
took me 8 minutes to find a game.
dude, it was hilarious. um, and or I play a throwback game that's like go get the achievements. So I picked Sleeping Dogs because I was like, well, that'll take 10 hours. That'll take 2 weeks or whatever. But it does. It's only 10 hours.
There's one where you have to drive a certain amount of miles, and that takes forever. I was literally just.
Oh, I'm not gonna get Waba, I'm not you, dude. I'm not that guy. I don't need. There's no platinums on Xbox.
Oh,
So I'm
that's right.
good.
Yeah. Okay. No, I
Just about the
respect
gamer
that.
score. I don't. They mind you, we should always do an episode about achievements and trophies because I do think if you combine the two, it would be great. I put out a tweet about it and someone was like, "No, PlayStation has trophy tracking." I'm like, so as someone that has one, they don't. They have it on like 3 games,
I don't know if I'm
and,
ready for the
and
world
one
to
of them
know
is
my
one of them is
obsession.
Astrobot. Like Waba, if PlayStation had trophy tracking, like actual trophy tracking, would you be happy? Because Xbox has it on
Oh,
every
I'd be
game.
happy, but I do it manually. Like
Like
when I'm in it, like I'm in
yes,
it. Like I'll do the math.
but well, you don't have to on an Xbox. It actually does the math for you. But when and someone told me this, so I was like, so I hopped into a AC Valhalla because the person was trying to keep telling me I'm wrong, and I'm like, so on PlayStation 5 there is no trophy tracking, but on the Xbox there's trophy tracking. It's the same company, but on different consoles. And so then I looked into it. The only thing that has trophy tracking on PlayStation is first party studios. No one else,
A shame.
because they don't make it mandatory. So the developers like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah.
Anyways, that
No,
was my, you know,
that's good. No, well, since you mentioned Pez, what are you playing right now?
Um.
Well, no, because Court, you said like this is what you're playing right now.
yeah, no, I know.
I'm playing NCAA 14, a game literally made 8 years ago because it's still the best EA football game ever created.
Is it optimized in 4K or whatever?
So running it
I
on
don't.
the PS3 emulator, I can run it at 1080 60 frames, scaled up. But because it's so, I could run it at 4K, but because it's so CPU heavy, I don't want to have my CPU basically running at max for like 2 or 3 hours. So I do that on Twitch with my Discord. It's like a Discord dynasty, so they all take over the players and we have a good time with it. And then I'm replaying Jedi Fallen Order on my Series X, and no real new games. Nothing on my PlayStation right now. Honestly, my PlayStation just kind of sits there.
Don't admit that.
And I will eventually get Horizon, but I'm not in a rush because I know I can get it cheaper at a different time, and it will just sit on a shelf until I'm ready to put serious hours into Horizon, and I'm just not ready.
After I platinum it, want me to mail it to you,
Sure,
or I can give it to it if I beat it by Anamanaguchi.
sure,
That's a concert. That's not like a lewd thing. After I said it out loud.
maybe.
Nobody
I just sorry.
cares.
But yeah, I
what's
mean,
that? What's that thing from Jurassic Park? see, no one cares.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's Newman or what? I don't know his character name.
FBI.
Dennis
No one
Nedry?
cares.
Dennis
Yeah.
Nedry.
So, speaking of
But yeah, what are you playing, Waba,
tried there.
outside of NHL?
nothing,
Nothing.
I'm playing fools on eBay for
Can we
profit.
talk
That's
about
about
what
it.
happened? Can we talk about what happened today? It was the funniest thing I've ever witnessed.
Oh, what happened?
So
That no one was on.
Wobble was playing NHL, and he kept saying it was pack rip day. So then I even went to my console and I was like, open it up. I'm like,
He
nope,
booted up
pack.
the PlayStation to
No, I did not. That
yell
I
at
did
me.
that on the app. I booted up the Xbox and I looked, and the packs weren't there yet from the squad battle. So that wasn't the reason that no one was playing with Waba. It was because there was no one playing the game today. Waba literally sat there for like 7 minutes and then finally gets a guy to play. And I just so happened to send him a message to the PS app saying no one wants to play with you anymore because I know it pops up on a
It
screen.
pops up.
So it says no one wants to play with you, and the guy jumps out of
He
the game.
quit. Now I
Did
got
he?
the win, but I was like
Oh,
I'm
man.
like he manifested this man's exit.
See,
Um,
what's gonna be annoying is now the NHL community is gonna be like, "Up, dead game, gotta play MLB The Show, dead game," and then they'll go play
no,
MLB The Show and be like, "Why are my numbers down? I don't get it."
Well, I
but
did
also
test a theory.
GWC registration opens March 1st, so you're gonna see a surge.
I did test a theory. I went on my Xbox and I turned it on, and I tried to search for a game, and there was players there.
Must be nice.
From what
Now,
I
But
have
to be fair,
seen,
I'm in a very high division. I'm
from
in
what
Division
I've
2
seen
still.
from other streamers, without naming names on the podcast, some of them have went back to the PS4 to play, to get ready for like GWC. I don't know
That's
why.
interesting because it's gonna be on all 4 platforms, and there might be a easier.
There might be an easier road on the PS4 than the PS5.
I'm not doing that.
Just
Sorry, I can't. That's too
I'm
much
not
work.
just this like so. I mean, I have my
If you're
issues with
full time,
the-
fine. Dude, it's 25 games per week. I have enough trouble doing that.
I have my issues with the NHL community as it is, so I'm not
Iwaba.
here to air my grievances.
Do you know what card I got? So I traded. You know when you can go into the trade sets. So I
Yeah.
traded everything I had. I'd never done it before, and UG was mentioning I should do it, so I went and did that. And then I went and traded on all the cards I didn't want, and I got one of those jumbo elites. I got 3 of those jumbo elite packs, and then I also had like things. So I spent a whole day, and I got 3 jumbo elite packs, and I got a certain card, that you really wanted.
What'd you get?
And I
Did
was
you get the
laughing.
Rask?
No, he didn't get the Rask. Actually, oddly enough, that's the card I was trying to get. Was trying to get the Tuca, but I got a certain the Great One.
F.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm banning you.
I
Can I
thought it
do
was
that here?
hilarious because I was watching his thing how he's trying to get the Lemieux and the Gretzky, and then so I get these. I do what UG tells me to do, and I get rid of all my extras. He's like, "What do you keep them for? Like, just trade them in." So I traded all in, silvers, everything, and I get all these packs. I had like 18 packs. I open all the packs, and the Jumbo Elite, I got the Wayne Gretzky, the 90s, the 8-bit thingy card. I got that one.
Oh, that's unfair. All right, I'm only a little jealous.
You want to hear something even more hilarious? Because of the way I have my team, I don't do like the left and all that kind of stuff. So my first line is Marchand, McDavid, and Pasta, because my McDavid is a 91, my Marchand's an 88, and so is my Pasta, and then my Bergeron is 90. I know he's slow, you don't like him, but he's my favorite player, so he's staying on my team. Gretzky's my third line center.
That's
Woo! Get wrecked, Waba.
Like, honestly,
enjoy
like,
those
that's like-
nightmares tonight, buddy.
that's like no fly list for 8 countries. That move.
Well, you know what card I'm trying to get? I'm trying to get a Crosby. I want to have like the trifecta here, so that's my next goal. So I'm going to keep trading to get a Crosby. I want a Crosby.
Well, there's 95s. I'd say have a good chance.
But I thought it was hilarious when I pulled the Gretzky. I was like, oh, this sucks for Waba so badly when I get these things. But my defense sucks.
Mine too,
And
but I have good players.
Yeah.
I have very good players, and I barely play the game.
Oh, jealous.
But
All right.
speaking of, I got no.
You don't
Oh,
have
I have
one?
one. I have one. Speaking of not sucking, guys, Netflix has reportedly bought the rights to Bioshock to make a movie. And I want to talk to one Waba Plays who states that Bioshock is, if it isn't Fallout, Bioshock is probably his favorite series.
Yep.
Here on the West, because I know he has those weird Eastern anime games. Waba, thoughts on this?
Thank God. It's about time. So it's been rumored. So for those of you, I'm not going to go into Bioshock and why I love it, but just know we don't have a lot of like decorations upstairs, but I have Bioshock 2 actual professionally framed prints upstairs, and I'm scared of needles and I don't like tattoos.
That's
But
a
if I got
bad
one, it would be a
game.
Bioshock one. It's
Bioshock 2 is not a bad game. It's actually a pretty fun game.
It's fundamentally better, except for the story.
Well, sorry, it has,
and it also
the
had
best,
multiplayer, which
it has the best DLC ever in a game.
Yes, Minerva's Den is incredible.
It's so good. And then Bioshock 3 is Bioshock's one of my favorite games. I've finished. That was the very first game I played on the Series X. I get the Series X. When do I do? I get the Bioshock collection, obviously.
of course.
See,
Bioshock is a perfect game, and it's made in Boston.
I don't consider Infinite, like Bioshock Infinite, the same as 1 and 2. Like, I
still
know
love
they're
it, though.
trilogy, but I just like, and I know there's like DLC that ties them all together, but me,
I
it
do.
just
So for the
feels so
show,
different.
what do you want? Do you want it to focus on Ryan?
So the
I
nice thing
do.
is it's a show. So my
Oh, it's
concern
not a
with
movie. Okay.
Bioshock has
Yeah, it's
always
a show.
been, would it be a great movie? Yes. The world is too big because you have to world build, and Bioshock does that in an immersive way. It is intentionally vague, but as soon as you get into Rapture, you start seeing like, all right, this person, he's seen as like Ryan, he's the all knowing, and there's all these like subplots, and immediately you see how weird these splicers are, and it's like, and like the big daddy and little sister scene, like you don't have time, and that's why like we see like a lot of movies suck, not just video game movies, but it's because you don't have the amount of time. Like, look what happened to the Justice League, and they had to release a 9-hour Snyder cut for people to be happy. Like, you need
I still wasn't
a
happy.
show.
Happy.
Fair, but Bioshock is gonna be great. So what I hope is, I hope that they keep the. If it's gonna be tough if you played the game, but that's fine. You can still appreciate it. I hope they keep like the mystery and the allure alive. There's a lot of different, and I'm gonna be very. I know, obviously, gamer podcast. A lot of people play it. In case you haven't, there's a lot of things going on in Rapture, and
Hey,
Rapture's.
hold on, Waba.
Yep.
The game is 20 years old. Go nuts. If they haven't seen it or haven't played it, sucks to be you. Continue.
Okay, fine. The whole part with
Jesus.
I know I love things I love.
Sorry, 15-year-old
Okay,
game.
fine.
My
We're about to
apologies.
talk about Bioshock. If you're 5 years old and when it came out,
If you're
take
5 years
a
old
seat
and you're
there for
listening
5
to this
minutes.
podcast and you have a kid, wow, impressive.
If you're 5 years old, make sure to subscribe. But basically, Atlas is such an important part, and the fact that they build that trust, and you have, it's the big, I would say probably the biggest reveal in a game that I've ever seen with the control word, and like how are you
Mm.
gonna do that in a show? How are you gonna have like that like person that you
I
trust that
have
you
it.
don't see?
I know how to do this.
How?
So I want you to season 1 is Rapture before everything. Jim Ryan, when he first gets there, the very last episode, you see 1 foot come down on the screen, and that's it. And it's a Big Daddy. The very last episode of the season.
Oh, don't edge people like that. We need that Big Daddy right
Nope.
away.
You get it once. You get 1 foot in a corner shot of a screen, and you get to decide what it is, and that's your first Big Daddy. But you start it because think about it. In the game, we go down there, and all hell is already broken loose, right? I want to get there when people thought that this was Rapture. It was this great thing. And so then they're all doing all their drugs because you can tell that's what they were doing down there, right? They were doing drugs. They were doing all these different things. I want to see the underworld of Rapture. I want to see Rapture before all this happened,
Mm.
where before the Big Daddy was a thing, before you had, before all of it. And then all the experiments that Ryan was doing. I want to see all that mad scientist stuff. And then I want to see it, you could see it going down this path of terribleness, and you could see people, cannibalizing each other. And then I want the very last episode to have the 1 foot of the Big Daddy. I want a story. Give me the background.
Yeah.
Get me there, and then we'll have Booker come down. In season 2 is the plane crash. That starts it all off. Season 2 starts with the plane crash, and we're right into it. Or season 2 starts with stuff that's happening in Rapture, and season 3 you get introduced to Booker. Look, I
What
just wrote it. Yo, Netflix,
what if you
hire me,
did the
bro.
perspective?
Hire me.
Netflix.
Like, what if Ryan is the main character and you basically follow him and get to see, like,
You
because
can't. Well, you could for the first couple seasons, but eventually you're gonna want to kill
oh
him,
yeah, but
which is fine. For season 1, he'd be the perfect character, or Minerva.
and like a lot of like what Bioshock does really well is
It's already
audiobooks.
done.
Oh yeah,
Minerva is your main character. All right, we're done. We can
Well, no,
continue now.
but like audiobooks and like that doesn't, or the audio logs,
Audio
that
logs.
doesn't work in TV,
Yeah,
or I don't think it would
You
work
want to know
here.
how you do it? It worked in the
Flashbacks.
Wonder Years. You can do
Okay.
voiceovers. You can do it like a narrator, the whole thing. You could have, shout out to Bob Saget, no longer with us. He was great at it, but like you could find someone to be the narrator of the whole show, and it could be like Minerva's diaries or the audio logs,
Hmm.
That's fair.
Interesting.
or you don't do the audio log part because it's a video game, but we're now doing a TV show.
Well, they could build all that in, like, so if what you're saying,
It'd
because
be tough.
I pictured you immediately go in there and it's like, all right, you're in
No,
this
I
world and
don't
now you're
want
gonna
that.
learn about it. Now you're saying you do the world building in season 1, you learn
Yep.
about all these people, you learn about some like the insurrectionists, some of the friction between some of the business people, some of the
And you do it like a Game of Thrones. You just start killing everybody because that's what's about to happen. So it doesn't matter who the character is. You love him, they're dead. You like that person? They're dead. They become a splicer. Your favorite character becomes a splicer. Like all that great stuff that can happen, dude. Think how great it can be.
Oh, I
I
think it
love
would
it.
make
I love
things
it.
much more impactful. There's some characters. I know, like, was it Suchan is one? He's the one that's like addicted to like plastic surgery.
Yeah,
There's the
pig,
artist.
the pig guy.
Uh, oh, the pig. Yeah, that's him. The who's the artist? The one
I
that
know the one that you blow up. Well, you
yeah,
blow them
he
all up.
or you don't
Well,
have
think
to.
about
That's
it.
the thing.
Vander Cohen.
No,
Cohen.
Cohen.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, Cohen's one of the best.
I
Like
definitely killed him.
level. Oh, I didn't because I wanted the free stuff. And then there's like the minor characters. I remember like one of the
Waba's
audio.
such a suck, eh? Like, I
You
want my
gotta
free
you gotta do it for
But
the
think
loot.
about it. Think about what you could do. You could start it where Ryan gets the idea to build Rapture under the water.
That's crazy. I didn't even
That's how you
consider
start
that.
it. You're right. First season, make Jim Ryan the #1 character. Second season, Minerva's your #1 character because then you can bring in the Minerva's Den DLC. Then you go into third season where all of a sudden you have a plane, and everybody who's played the video game starts shitting their minds. Wow, first time ever. Everybody
Gamer
who's
word.
played, yeah, everybody that has played the game, the plane's shaking, and we all know it's Booker, and the plane's about to crash. And you're just like, what? Are they really doing this? And boom, you're going into Rapture, and you're like, no. And you know that the little sisters are coming. You know what's about to happen. You know that your Booker's hand's gonna have like plasma in it. Oh my god,
I didn't even
superhero stuff.
consider how cool the plasmids are gonna look, and not just like the effect, but I think
How
in
gross it's gonna be when he takes the Eve and puts it into his arm.
well, not just that, but you know how when he gets a power, his hand actually like transforms, and they did
It's
this in the
almost.
later ones too. But like, it wasn't just oh I'm on fire; it was like skin cracking, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
magma. Oh,
Let's be honest. We all used the bees the whole time.
Never actually.
Oh, that's what I use the bees all the time.
okay, Nicolas Cage.
Uh,
The bees.
bees?
I
Oh,
don't know.
so all I
I'm
want to
excited.
do is I want the TV show and I want it done right. Like I heard everybody was like, Cowboy Bebop. First off, don't care for the show, don't care for the game, whatever it is, I don't care. That's fine. But Bioshock, there's so much lore just from the audio logs that you could do a whole series just on the audio logs.
There's so much unshown, and they there was a book that I think went into some prologue stuff too, or maybe like just after everything went down. But like it's you're told and not shown, and I know that's like some people have like that's bad storytelling. You're supposed to show not tell, but like no, Bioshock is showing you something else, but telling you something else. So now if they go into those tell, they show you that there's opportunity there, and
But think about it. Think how cool it would be to finally know what happened. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? The downfall of Rapture. To watch Rapture fall, and then that means you get to have a different type of show. You get to have this show that is like a Jim Ryan being this focal point, and it's this thing. Even though you, as the person that's played the video game, you know what's about to happen. So like we're gonna have Booker come in here and just mess stuff up, but we just don't know when it's gonna happen, right? And then all of a sudden, season 3, that plane, and you're like, we're getting like shotguns and crazy looking Tommy guns, and oh my god,
and I hope that they carry it on. Like I know you didn't like it. I liked Bioshock 2 a lot. I thought it was
it's
a
not that I
very
didn't like it. It was a
it's not as good.
disappointment.
It's not as strong. But like you got to see more of the world you wouldn't have seen, and then ultimately with I, with the infinite, like how that feeds in, and actual admission, I never finished the second half of the DLC of
Oh, the
Infinite,
Under the Sea
and
DLC
the
or whatever
reason
it's
why
called.
is because this is how much I like this game. I didn't want it to be over, and part of me, so I still have the DLC. Part
You're
of
a
me,
child.
yeah,
Stop being
no,
a
that's just
child.
how it goes. I
No,
couldn't do it.
you're a
I
child.
couldn't let it end. And if I felt like if I finished that, it was finally closing the book on that, and I wasn't ready for it. And to this day, I have not beat that DLC.
So what
I
happens when
can't
the
do
new
it.
BioShock game comes out?
I go back and play it. I mean, come on, like let's be honest, but like that's just how it is for me.
Don't
It's
be
such a
upset
good
that it's
story.
over. Smile that it happened. In the
Okay,
words of
don't
Waba Plays.
stop using my stuff against me. But um, yeah, Pez, I'm glad you brought that one up.
Waba, that's madness.
Some might say It's the
Multiverse of
multiverse of
madness.
madness.
Is Sparta?
I
My
went to the
God.
notes in the Discord and I just saw Doctor Strange movie. I'm like, oh, you didn't write it down. Let's talk Doctor Strange. Cordy, I know you're more of a DC guy, but I know you're excited for it. Pez, I know you're excited for it because you're also a
I'm gonna let Pez
comics
go
nerd.
first. He's literally just watched every Marvel movie.
Pez, yeah, Pez has been on it. So tell us, what should we be excited for?
All right. So if you haven't seen the trailer, spoilers. What you should be excited for is my theory, which I know is going to come true anyway, because it's pretty much the prevailing theory out there, is that the multiverse, now we are going to get the mutants. We are going to get X-Men. So we are getting Marvel's version of the Illuminati. What that is basically like in the multiverse is like the council that kind of runs everything. And then what we heard in the trailer is Patrick Stewart. Like that is a voice that everyone
We don't call him that in the universe. He's Professor Xavier.
He's Charles
Has to.
Xavier. But he will be part of. Now it makes sense how they're gonna bring the X-Men in, because at first everyone's like, oh, maybe it'll be like a House of M thing. Maybe Wanda will like, bird the mutants or whatever. But they're in a multiverse somewhere, and boy, are they coming to Marvel! And
I loved how he just like literally, you can tell that he rolls onto the screen. But some people are saying it could be the 1990s X-Men. So he'll be in his futuristic spaceship-looking wheelchair thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the other rumor is we have Supreme Iron Man, which is going to be played by Tom Cruise, which he'll die in the movie, so it doesn't matter. It's not like we're going to be, because he doesn't last long in the comics. And then we're going to get, this will all lead into Secret Wars.
Yep.
That's the next series of the Marvel Universe, the Secret
And
Wars.
there are pieces in the trailer where it looks like we have zombified versions, so maybe like a Marvel Zombies type thing, because there's like a zombified version of what the heck's her name?
Well, all the what if. So for people who haven't watched the Disney Plus What If series, I suggest you watch them now, because if you actually, I watched New Rockstars on YouTube, greatest channel. Honestly, it's so good. They did a whole thing of the Shattered Glass, and there's even Carter's. Yeah, there's Carter's shield in that Shattered Glass. There's all these things, all the stuff from the What If series is all in that Shattered Glass.
Yeah, like this, the multiverse now is truly how they are going to tie every franchise together.
And they can bring everybody back. It doesn't matter.
And this Doctor Strange movie, ultimately, it was supposed to come out before No Way Home. And that is why, like, in No Way Home, there's not a real explanation of the multiverse. He's just like, oh yeah, there's like other universes. And everyone's like, of course there is. Because this movie was supposed to come out first. But this movie is going to be a definite game changer when it comes to the Marvel universe. And I think it's going to be pretty good. Look, I'm not a huge Doctor Strange fan. I thought the first movie was fine. I saw it with Little Pez and I did our whole Marvel Mondays. We watched it. We were like, hey, this is pretty cool. But I was never like, oh my God, Doctor Strange, hooray. Like, he just wasn't for me. So to see him become an important character, I think is pretty neat. But this movie looks good. It looks good. And we will definitely go see it.
So my other question is, so we're getting Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
We have Charles Xavier in a movie. Who is the first X-Men do you think we get to see? And also rumored Deadpool is supposedly rumored to be in this movie as well, by the way.
Okay.
They're going all out.
Do we count Deadpool as an X-Men?
No.
He's X-Force.
He's X-Force. Honestly, thank you, because Cable led the X-Force. Let's go.
I know. Do you think I don't know stuff? All right. I got one thought per episode. That's right.
That means the Cable 2 with Cable and all that. That's part of the MCU now.
Cable to the streets.
It's taking it to the street.
Cable
Step Up 2. It's a Step Up 2 reference
Cable
for those who are
the house.
For those over the age of 35.
My guess is it's probably Wolverine, because if you talk about X-Men, he's probably the most he's probably the most well-known X-Men. My hope would be a sly reference to Magneto. Just because Magneto is my favorite, one of my favorite X-Men. But I think it's going to be Wolverine. I don't think it's going to be Cyclops. Cyclops kind of sucks anyway.
But what
so that's
movie
okay.
did? Hold on, I'll pull it up. You keep talking. I'll pull up the phase.
Um,
What's it? Phase 5.
but I don't even know. I don't even know what phase we're in anymore. We're in DefCon 5. My guess is it's Wolverine. Wolverine's gonna be the first one. My hope to play Wolverine. I'm going completely off base here.
I love this.
I'm going off base. 1, Canadian actor. 2, built like a brick beep house. Right? Built like Wolverine. You ever see this dude with the shirt off? Built
Always.
strong.
Okay, but so obviously Fantastic Four is going to be in this because they're in Phase 4. So
Yes.
obviously Reed Richards will be part of the. Well, he's part. Sorry,
I didn't even
continue.
think of that, dude. Oh my! Hold on, I gotta shut up right now.
For those Letterkenny fans, Jared Kiso, who basically writes, directs, produces Letterkenny, plays Wayne.
So
That's
I'm going to
my
read
Wolverine.
you.
I like
I'm going to read you Phase 4. So Doctor Strange was supposed to be first, then the Eternals, then Spider-Man: No Way Home. We got the Eternals first. I watched it.
Crappy
It was
movie.
not good.
It was
We
fine.
got Spider-Man. No, it was not fun.
Yeah, okay.
We got Spider-Man: No Way Home, and then we're getting Doctor Strange after that, and Shang-Chi we got as well.
What a great movie that was.
What if Hawkeye, the TV series, The Marvels, that'll also be on Disney Plus. That looks pretty cool. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so that's when we're probably gonna get. You're not getting the X-Men then. We
No,
have.
you'll get it, and
You know where you're getting it? Secret Invasion.
yeah,
Yeah. Do they play a big part? They do. Sorry.
100.
they do.
Dude, like, come on now.
Secret. No, I haven't read in a while, but that
And
and
then
Civil War are my two favorite.
Morbius, you're
events.
gonna have. That's where you're gonna get your other. You got Wow, the Fantastic Four.
And let's not forget the Marvel show I am most excited about, gentlemen. Moon Knight.
Oh yes.
Did you see the trailer for Moon Knight? Oh my god, it looks spectacular.
Well, they even count the Black Widow movie. So then we have also Thor: Love and Thunder. We have the new Black Panther. We have Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Ant-Man and the Wasp. The Quantum.
How are they going to do a new Black Panther movie, by the way?
Now,
I think they're having
Fantastic
Shuri.
Four. Fantastic Four is obviously when we'll get Doctor Doom because Doctor Doom is Secret Wars. So that's when we're gonna get that, and then we're getting another
We're
one.
getting Hammer.
And then television series, we have Moon Knight, which is going to be awesome. She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion is a television series. So so which movie? So Fantastic Four is where we get the X-Men,
Maybe.
It could be.
or Thor: Love and Thunder.
Maybe.
Or yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just
We
I'm
might.
just excited.
You got
We
to
might
bring them in
not. We
somewhere.
might get drip fed. We might get drip fed X-Men.
X-Men
like,
has to be in a movie.
Well, X-Men will
randomly.
take over, right? Once X-Men's introduced,
It's got to
over.
be in a movie. They're not going to do it in a TV show because how do I put this?
I agree with
The
Waba.
marketing potential is too high for something like this to be put in a TV show. Not that their TV shows aren't like first class.
Right.
It's an X-Men pun. But but you can't save it for TV.
No,
I
but we'll
don't disagree.
We'll be drip fed X-Men, like post scene credits are all of a sudden the claws pop and that's it, bang. Or like you see the Cyclops blast, or like Nightcrawler bamps, like you see the smoke from him bamfing away, right? Like,
Well, that's who I think is going to be the first X-Men introduced. When you said, I think it's going to be Nightcrawler because he's the
Really?
easiest.
Nightcrawler was my favorite X-Men.
Well, think how
loved him.
easy he can be
He's great.
because he can do the interdimension stuff. How easy is for him to just show up?
True.
My favorite was Colossus because of the Konami game. He just was funny when he uses power, where he would flex and go kill
Because
everything in a radius.
I'm looking at Secret Invasion, which is a TV series, and it's supposed to come out in 2022, and it's 6 episodes, and it revolves around Nick Fury, which is Samuel L. Jackson. Very easily could you put Nightcrawler in there or some not as big X-Men, and you can put them in Secret Invasion at the very end in your very last episode. Nick Fury finds the X-Men. So then you have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that comes out right after that, which would be just hilarious. But if you do the lineup, so from that we get Thor: Love and Thunder, the movie. So it is Spider's.
The X-Men play a big part in the book, though.
You know, I get what you're saying, but
Yeah,
if you're wanting to put them in a movie, there's no movie coming out besides
fair.
the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I don't want them to be in Fantastic Four. I want finally a good
I don't want
Marvel
him to do
one.
a Fantastic Four movie.
Well,
because
that's
the
why it
Fantastic
might make
Four
more
are not
sense
good.
to introduce a low. You are already introducing the X-Men in Doctor Strange, right? So with cat's out of the bag, X-Men are in Doctor Strange. So you're now, if you do a TV series and introduce, you know, Nightcrawler or even Gambit or somebody, right? Then you're setting it up that you can do a Deadpool movie with the X-Men. Oh my God, you could do a Deadpool movie with the X-Men. Why are we even having this conversation? That's just
That's
easier.
actually a good point. Yeah, you just stick them in. I mean, they already have X-Men in there, kind of.
Done and done.
Maybe.
Just do Deadpool 3 and you have X-Men. Like
Yeah,
it's just
boom.
it's done. Deadpool and X-Men, and you don't even have to. Oh, forget it. We're okay. We just figured out the MCU.
Yeah, you're welcome, Marvel.
All right,
Send our
so
check.
we have
to
written the
Wallace
Bioshock
Blaze.
TV show. We have written
Mhm.
Phase 6, 5, and 6 of Marvel. What's next?
Would have been nice
That's the
if Hugh
question.
Jackman came back for Wolverine because he's awesome. Well, obviously, I 100% agree, O'Malley.
We agree.
Not
Also,
coming back though.
Also, shout out to the nerds who had to endure me yelling at the screen after I saw Spider-Man because I was the only person who could ID Shuma Gorath or Gorath, whatever, because I played a crap load of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And they were one of the DLC characters for pre-order. And nobody knows.
What a
And so
great game
I
Marvel vs.
learned
Capcom is.
I
what
still
that
haven't
was.
seen Spider-Man No Way Home. I can't wait for it to hit Netflix.
You're missing
If it's
out.
anything like
MVC2?
Far From Home, it was so bad. Like-
It's much better. I hated Far From Home. I thought
It was so bad. You know how many people were like, it's such a good movie? I'm like, why do you like trash? Because they just took a very good character and they made him trash. It's because Sony, oh man, they're so good with video game stories and they're so bad with movies. And I just don't get it. I truly, truly don't get it because Marvel doesn't get to control what happens in the Sony ones. They can control Spider-Man when they're in their movies, but when the Sony does a movie, they bring back all the Spider-Mans and everybody think that's great when really, like, if you wanted to be really cool, you could have brought Miles Morales, but you didn't. You didn't. You just brought back Toby and the other guy. Like,
Toby.
Loved it.
I know you loved it, but wouldn't it have been cool to get something
truly-
more
I did.
better, like
I'm shocked. Yeah.
like actual multiverse, like what they did in the cartoon? And
I'm
I
shocked
get Miles
Miles wasn't in
Morales.
it.
Like, give me a Miles Morales movie. I don't need another Spider-Man movie.
It'll
I don't
happen.
care. Tom
I
Holland
can't believe
sucks.
he wasn't in it, or even in a.
Tom
like
Holland's not a good
NC2.
Spider-Man. Let's just be real here.
I love it.
It's a hot take. Tom Holland's not a good Spider-Man.
That's the hottest take.
No, it's
Scorching.
not. I don't think it's. I think Pez actually likes my take.
No, it's
Oh.
scorching. I don't. I kind of like him as Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, no, I like him as Peter Parker, not as Spider-Man. It's totally different.
I like him
Fair.
as Spider-Man. Although I have we may have to do a breakdown of No Way Home at some point because I have a lot of issues with that movie, but I did enjoy watching it.
Issues. Oh my, dude. Okay, there's a thing called Screen
Issues.
Rant, and there's a guy based out of Canada, and they do like the pitch meeting thing, and they do the Spider-Man No Way Home pitch meeting, and it is the most hilarious thing you'll ever watch. It destroys this movie to the core, and you're just like, ooh, this movie's trash. As much as people really like it and they would think it deserves an Oscar, so many plot holes and so many things where they were like, hey, all these really cool things about the Marvel Universe, we're just gonna be like, for this movie, they don't matter.
I mean, you can do that with any Marvel movie. Like we were watching Endgame last night, and I'm like, hey, if you're not supposed to run into your future self, why is Steve Rogers fighting himself and nothing happens to future Steve Rogers? And so,
Well, hold
and
on.
like my
If we use
10-year-old
Back
was
to the
like,
Future logic, it's over. He's
my
gonna faint.
10-year-old goes, who cares, Dad? It's a movie. And I was like, exactly, my dude.
True. Got him.
I was like, exactly, my dude. It's just a movie. Who cares?
Oh, sorry, Bally. Andrew Garfield, still the other guy. It's like Robert Patterson when he was in the Twilight series. He was just that guy. Now he's Batman. And oh, by the way, I got 2 tickets to Batman, baby.
Oh,
I'm so excited to go to Batman. Like, all they want to do is 2 weeks from now go to Batman.
I can't believe it's only like it's already in 2 weeks. Like that movie looks sick.
Yes, Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man, bar none.
Agreed.
100%.
Yes. Sorry.
Agreed.
We
That's
rewatched
not
them.
even. It's Tom Holland now just played just according to what I'm being told, ruined Uncharted. So yay.
I'm excited for Uncharted.
Why? Why? It's a
So,
Sony
let me tell
video
you
game
something.
movie. It's not good.
So let me tell you something.
Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me, Waba.
The games I'm taking the stance with Last of Us, so you pick it and stick it. It's okay to deviate a little, from the source material. You use it as a background
You
or a
don't put Mark
backdrop.
Wahlberg in an Uncharted movie and try and consider it an Uncharted movie.
Don't put
Mark
Mark Wahlberg in
Wahlberg
any movies because he
notwithstanding.
stinks.
Fez hates that dude. We were talking about this offline, and he just was going it. Give us your top two Mark Wahlberg takes right now, Pez.
He stinks and he sucks. Those are my big
He
two.
stinks and sucks.
And
He
like
sucks
people are
and
like, oh, he
blows.
was in The Departed, and The Departed wasn't good because of him. He, if anything, brought The Departed down.
Boston accent out of that one, eh?
Yeah. Well, you can't say The Departed and not do
You
the
can't
Boston
talk about
accent.
Mark Wahlberg.
What do you want to do? Chop me up and feed me to the poor?
Say hello to your mother for me.
Tell your mother you're not gonna be home for supper. And the Irish guy's like, oh, mother, I'm not gonna be home for supper. It just is what it is, man.
You should do a whole movie about like the most famous Boston mobster of all time and have Johnny Depp play him.
Oh God.
Oh my God, that's what you should do. You should get somebody that's not from Boston and doesn't have anything to do with the whole thing and have to have makeup on him and make him play Whitey Bulger. That's what you should do because Jack Nicholson, even though he's not from Boston, was the better Whitey Bulger. Let's be honest.
Awesome. I love The Departed. I thought it was a great movie.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I mean, you have
Mark
to.
Wahlberg sucks in that movie too. He sucks in every movie. Transformers sucks.
You know who's really good?
What's the one where he
You know
plays
who's
for
really
the
good?
Eagles? Invincible Man sucks.
Do you know who's really good?
Who?
Matt Damon.
I actually like Matt Damon, except
I
he's
like
in
Matt
crypto.
Damon.
Except he's in crypto commercials like a butthole.
Dude, okay, let's be honest. If crypto went to you and said, "Hey, we want you to be in this commercials," wouldn't you take the bag?
Yeah,
I would take the bag.
Yeah, I would take the bag. But if people are like, "Why are you in crypto commercials, you butthole?" I would just take it because that's what else you're gonna do. It's my right as a free American to say Matt Damon looks like a scummy scumhole.
I have to correct you here.
Yes.
According to a bunch of Canadians sitting in blow up hot tubs right now in front of the Parliament buildings, no one is free. They're fighting for their freedoms. As they fight for their freedoms, they're cracking a beer with their TVs outside, sitting in blow up hot tubs, but they're fighting for their freedoms. No one's free. Don't use that word. No one's free around here anymore.
My communist government tells me that if I want to defame Matt Damon because he is in crypto commercials, I can do that. So I exercise my non-rights to do that.
That's fair. I mean, that's not fair.
Matt Damon. Matt Damon.
So there's a few other
gone off the rails, by the way.
I know that, and that's fine. But there's another movie I think.
Can I talk about Batman real quick?
I was gonna say I want to circle back to Batman. We can talk about the new one, and then we can talk about your favorite one.
Ooh.
Sure, but it's the same thing because it's still Michael Keaton, so it doesn't make a difference. I'm still talking about my favorite Batman.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Pictures were released of Michael Keaton in the new Batman cowl and suit. I put them in our chat. I don't like his shoulders. Pez, you see the shoulders? I don't like the shoulders, but I like everything else. And there's already interviews out where he's saying at least he can pee in this thing and turn his neck. Now, for those of you who don't know, 1989 Batman, and if I move my chair, there's a lot of Batman there. There's a lot of Batman. I really like Batman. He couldn't move his neck and he couldn't pee in the suit, and he peed his pants a bunch of times, and he was wearing diapers doing 1989 Batman because he couldn't get out of that thing. They are doing the Flash. The new Flash movie has Michael Keaton Batman in it because they're doing their own. They're redoing Flashpoint, which is it. For those who haven't read any DC comics, I suggest this is one of the best series they ever did in DC. It's, Flashpoint with the Flash. So many great storylines. I don't want to give any of it away, but we're going to get Michael Keaton Batman. At the very end of the trailer, you see Idris. He pulls up and it's the old Batmobile. And then we're getting a Batgirl movie, and which is awesome. And Michael Keaton Batman is in that as well. It won't be Alicia Silverstone. Don't worry. No one needs to see her as Batgirl again. But we're getting the Barbara Gore story, which is going to be awesome. But we get my favorite Batman of all time, which is Michael Keaton, which is just chef's kiss. Even though Robert Pattinson looks like it's going to be one hell of a Batman. I'm vengeance.
Bob, what do you
What?
think?
I'm Batman. That's
I
like the
don't.
best
Yeah.
line. Yeah. Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me. It's so good. So
We were talking
good.
about it before how I like Michael Keaton, but he's not my Batman. Now, I'm
That's
not
fine.
saying my Batman is the best. Mine
No,
is
that's fine.
Christian Bale, who I believe my wife is also obsessed with, but not because of the Batman part.
Does she think
Um,
about Christian Bale when you're on? Oh, anyways.
so no, she said in our vows, she's like, I always
Family
pictured
podcast.
myself.
Court is a
She's like, I always pictured
lewd boy
myself marrying
toy.
Christian Bale or Hugh Jackman, and then I met you, and I still thought I was gonna marry Christian Bale or Hugh Jackman. That was in her
It's
vows to me.
it's
And
really
Frank, I said, yeah, me too.
that makes sense, honestly.
Get wrecked, Queen.
But yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think I like when they bring back obviously people like that's why I like the Spider-Man movie so much. But they're doing it in a way where like it's not like one for one. I feel like in other movies of Spider character, it was very similar to the look and everything from the other one, but this one he looks like totally different. And I think that's cool. And I haven't yet read Flashpoint, but it's on my list before all this stuff happens. I'm familiar with, some what a Flash can do, but I just like how they're like getting into this DC. Like Marvel's been like exploring with the multiverse, and I think for a bunch of like, boomers like us, like we like seeing like this, those actors are still around for the most part. Like we want to see them again in like new things and CGI and like new storylines. And like that's why I think like, the multiverse for Marvel's hitting so different. And I think if DC starts exploring that, they don't have to do just similar things. I think that's going to be really cool to see because, I mean, like Court loves Michael Keaton, and now you get to see him like basically like quote HD. Like, he's going to be like,
Dude, you can
it's going to
get
be sick.
4K Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision 1989 Batman. I've watched it 3 times. My thing is I'm really enjoying what Disney Plus has been doing with the Marvel TV series and the Star Wars TV series. I hope DC doesn't go the MCU universe thing. I don't think they are.
They
It doesn't
can't.
seem
They're too
well. I
far.
don't want them
Yeah.
to. What I want though is I want a DC channel. Hey Ben, make this happen. I want
Yep.
a DC TV channel. I want I want a detective noir Batman Dark Knight TV series with Batman. Give me a Batman Dark Knight. Give me episodic. Give me whatever you want. Give me a Batman TV series. Give me a Joker TV series. Give me a uh t- give me just give me TV series. Give me a Nightwing TV series. How good would that be? I've watched the Titans. It's too teenage poppy for me. I want Disney-esque DC TV shows. I going to the movies is fine and all, but these Disney Plus TV series are just wow. They really are.
When you got Disney money, that's,
They got
what happens.
HBO money, right? They got Time Warner. They got Warner Brothers
I'm
money.
not, good. DC's got, funds, but yeah, I agree with that.
Or Xbox buy Warner Brothers. Do something with it. All right? They got the money. Just go buy Warner Brothers, give me a Batman game. And because that Halo TV series look what off the hook.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's cool like how Marvel doesn't, like you said, like it seems like for the most part the DC shows don't like they exist, but like they don't tie into too much stuff, or at least as
They're
much
not
things.
that good. Like I watched all of Titans. Everybody tells me they're good, but as a DC fan, I'm like, I don't know, man. Nope. They're teenage angst, and I don't want that. It's like an Umbrella Academy that was on Netflix. I'm like, I'm not listening to My Chemical Romance anymore. Hating my girlfriend. I'm married with a kid.
Oh, I am.
You
I
should
no,
still listen to
that's
My
fine.
Chemical
I
Romance.
know.
No.
That
I was watching Sing 2 with my daughter today, and there's a My Chemical Romance song in it.
Get out.
Get
Yeah,
out.
it's so good. Honestly, I'll tell you this right now.
Is it the
Sing
Black
2,
Parade?
my daughter.
Yep.
No, it's
Yep, the
not. It's
Black
not
Parade.
Black
Oh
Parade.
my
It's not.
God.
It's not. It's not.
What do
Hold
you mean
on.
it's not?
That's the
It's
Black
not.
Parade. When
No, but
I
I was.
was
No,
a
I know.
young.
I
Oh,
just sang the song because you said it. Hold on. Sing
oh.
2. I'll pull it up. Because we're gonna talk about movies with our kids anyway, so this is a good segue. Sing 2 has My Chemical Romance. Let me get the soundtrack here. Starring Wikipedia music. It is The song saved my life. Nope. Tom Kelly, Elton John, Scarlett Johansson, Billie Eilish. Bring me a higher love. Whoa.
Dude, I've been singing that song all week. What a bop.
What
Such a good
MC
song.
Oh no, not that song. I've
MCR?
been
They
singing
had a
it.
music video.
Could have been me. But it's done by they do it by Halsey, but it's originally anyways, continue.
What's that song? You know that? Do you guys watch the music video where they do like a World War II, like Omaha Beach music video for MCR?
No.
It's called like Never Coming Home. Dude, that if you can, it's a great video, but they do a transition where they're all like dancing in like a dance hall before like shipping off, and then a wave comes by and it transitions to beach. My gosh, whoever like I don't know. If you like film, just go on there, watch that song. If you don't like their music, endure it. It's worth it.
Get
But
him,
like you said,
Tony.
but like you said, sing and kid, what we can share with our kids. So last topic of the day is, we want to just talk about when we feel we will or when we have, let our kids watch certain movies. Whether it's a Marvel movie, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, or Harry Potter. I know those kind of differ, but
Bring me a higher love.
gonna
Whoa.
DMC it.
Whoa.
No, I'm that would involve them listening to our podcast. We're fine.
No,
Yeah, we're all right.
you underestimate.
All right. You
But
underestimate my
what do you guys
power,
think? Like,
Anakin.
how old should kids be to be able to enjoy like certain movies like that? Like, do you just let it go and just hope they don't pick up on things, or are they more malleable than one would think, and they pick up on subtleties?
So I just recently watched Star Wars with my daughter, and the first one, or the third one, whatever you want to call it, whatever. Not a prequel. The first one was fine. The second one, when they open up the Tauntaun to put Luke in because
Oh.
he's cold, it didn't go over well, and so we stopped watching. My daughter's 5 years old. She just turned 5 in November. We tried watching Neverending Story. She loved every minute of it until Atreyu and the horse dies. It didn't go over well. I don't know. I'm gonna try watching Miss Doubtfire this weekend. My daughter watches Sing 2. She loves Encanto. Loves all the Disney stuff, but some of the PG stuff, like I want to watch the Goonies with her. I don't think I can. Like when they try and take Chunk's hand and put it in the blender, I don't think that's gonna go over well.
The Fratellis, man, you gotta watch out for them.
I realize what I watched as a kid, and I'm like, wow. Because at my daughter's age, I was watching the Goonies. I was going to the Goonies in the movie theater and seeing it. I was, Princess Bride I'd seen. Like, when I was 6 years old, I saw Nightmare on Elm Street 3. That's not a good thing. Guava. When I was 4, I saw Ghostbusters. Right? It's such a good movie. Like,
But also PG was different then.
well,
It's evolved.
So I think my daughter is definitely, she can watch PG movies, but there's a ton of them she can't. And that's just my daughter. It's just, I want her to still be a kid. And some of them, even, I'll give you an example. The Santa Claus, the very first one with Tim Allen, the very first one. When Santa falls off that roof, my kid don't need to see that. She don't need to be there yet.
That's
just that's for me. I know as a kid, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3 as a 7-year-old and had nightmares for 6 years. It was bad. I had to have my brother sleep in my room a lot. That scared the living daylights out of me. But I also was a kid that watched Aliens and had no problem with it. You know what I mean?
Yikes.
It's all going to be dependent on your kid. Because, so mine's 10, as we all know. So when she was 4 or 5, we watched Neverending Story. Laughed when the horse died. My sweetheart.
Your daughter is vicious.
Child. She's a supervillain, my dude. That's her supervillain origin story. At 6, we watched the original Jurassic Park. She loved it. When she was 6, we watched Ghostbusters. She loved it. I was like, hey, there are kind of like scary dogs in here, but also like they're fake. And she was like, okay. And we watched it, and she was like, Dad, that movie was fun. Like, she's not like when it comes to those, like she obviously like will not at 10, like my wife will watch The Walking Dead, she'll leave the room. She's like not into that kind of stuff, but if it's like Ghostbusters, we watch Ghostbusters too. We've seen every Marvel movie. And her love of Marvel is only like a year and a half old, because she was sleeping over my mom's house and my niece and nephew like Marvel movies, so they watched it. And she was like, "Oh, I like these." After Dad's like, "Hey, you want to watch this with me? You'll like it." She's like, "No." But like, she doesn't get the references. Like, we watch Guardians of the Galaxy, and they make the Jackson Pollock reference. Like, "Oh, you tried a blacklight here. It looks like a Jackson Pollock painting." And she's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, he was an artist." She's like, "Okay." Like, they don't know. Like, she hasn't picked up on that. And like the Ghostbuster stuff, like there are a ton of like dirty jokes and limericks in there, and they don't pick up on it yet because they don't really know what it is.
Have you watched Afterlife with her yet? Because that's out on video now.
Yes, it's her favorite movie. We saw it in the theaters, and then we
so
rented
good.
it. We rented it on Saturday for a little family movie night, and she watched it Saturday and Sunday, like ad nauseum.
They're finally making movies that are like Simpson episodes where there's stuff for the parents and the kids.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. So I think
give me a real Transformers based on the 80s. Continue.
I think it depends on your child, right? Because there are movies that she has seen, like PG movies that she has seen that like she's like, I didn't like that. Like it was kind of scary. But when I showed her the ones that I've loved, like she won't watch Jaws, and that I don't think like Jaws is a scary movie. I grew up loving that movie. I don't find it scary, but she's like, I'm not gonna watch this. It's scary. But she'll watch Ghostbusters. She'll watch every Marvel. We've seen every Marvel movie, every Marvel TV show. She has no interest in Star Wars. Like I don't really like Star Wars, but I was like, hey, you want to try this? Like a lot of people like it, and we watched episode 4. And she was like, fine. Like, all right, fine. But again, and we've seen every Harry Potter a billion times, and she's read all the books, and I think we started that at like 7. Like we started at 7 because she was like, "Oh, my friends like Harry Potter," and I was like, "All right." So I would read the books to her at night, at bedtime, and then when we were done with the book, I would say, "You want to watch the movie?" She would say, "Yeah." So we would just do it that way, and then I do all the cool voices as I did
for the last 3 because it gets dark quick.
Well, the Dementors is horrifying.
Well, no, my daughter watched the first one, was fine with it, but my wife and I decided number 2, she's not, as a 5-year-old, we're like, number 2, it starts in number 2.
Mm-hmm.
One with the basilic.
Yeah, like
basilisk.
she can watch number 1 when Harry's pretty much the same age as her. We'll allow that. But that's why we almost said to my wife, we're like, she's gonna be able to watch 1 a year. Like,
Yeah.
is little Pez, what's her threshold?
In terms of
Scared.
She's so weird because like we've seen, I think when she was 9 we finished the Harry Potter movies because like it takes a while to get through, especially the later books, right? Because they're huge. I mean, let's see, nothing in Harry Potter scared her, nothing in Ghostbusters scared her, because I thought the terror dogs were gonna scare her in Ghostbusters in the first one. Didn't. The River of Slime, when they're reaching up for Ray in the second one, I was like, oh, she might get scared at that. Because my brother and I saw that when we were about 6 and 7 in a movie theater.
To let everybody know, your brother's a pansy. Continue.
And he at 6 years old was crying, and we had to leave the movie theater because he was so
huge
scared.
pansy. Like Greg, huge pansy.
And then I, as a 7-year-old, started crying because we had to leave the movie theater, and I didn't want to leave. I wanted to finish watching Ghostbusters. But so she was fine with that. I thought
Shining is scary, O'Malley. I'm sorry, that is a scary movie.
The Shining, I didn't think it was scary. It's definitely creepy. Wob has probably never seen it because he's old.
Yeah, Bob would get scared of his shadow.
I thought the part in Jurassic Park when Ellie is like, Mr. Arnold, we turn the lights on and the raptor jumps out at the pipes. I thought that was gonna get her. It didn't. So like she's good with that, but if she knows it's like a scary movie, like when we saw Ghostbusters, they played one of the credits they played was the new Scream movie.
Oh.
And she was like, I'm not gonna see that with you and mommy. I was like, yeah, no kidding. I'm not gonna bring you to see. But she was like legit scared, like because she like held my hand while that was going on.
Oh,
and I was like, it's just
a
movie. It's not real. And she's like, I know.
Did that feel a little bit good though?
I was like, it's just a trailer. My wife saw it, by the way, and loved it.
But like the dad moment for you, like your daughter still needed to hold your hand because she was
Yeah.
scared, and you were like, "Yes, she's still my daughter.
Yeah, she's
She's
still
still my
like
little girl."
it's dude. We're in this age where it's weird because like we'll walk across the street and randomly she'll grab my hand to walk across the street, and I'm like, yeah, come on. And then, but like then, you know, there'll be days when she's like, yeah, Dad, I don't want to hang out with you. Well, like she'll kick us out of the living room. She will kick my wife and I out of the living room so she can sing and dance to movies still, like a little kid. Like she's stuck in that little kid slash, but almost a preteen
So she's
phase.
you.
No, I am always a little, 100%. But yeah, she's in that weird phase now where it's like sometimes she wants to be a little kid and she like wants to do little kid stuff, and then sometimes she wants to be, 12, 13 and do 12 and 13-year-old stuff. But yeah, when it came to movies, like I'd be like, hey, you want to watch this? Yeah. And then I would just gauge her reaction on it. How was that? It was fine. Cool, man. You want to watch it again? Yeah.
Damn.
That's it. Like, my wife has been like, hey, you want to watch Nightmare on Elm? Like, she's 10. It's like, you want to watch the first Nightmare on Elm Street? She's like, no, I don't. I never want to. I'm like, okay.
Smart decision.
Honestly, the first one's the scary one. The other ones get just comical after a while because it's the 80s, right? But
Yeah.
if you look at 80s horror movies, the first Friday the 13th, they're all like, wow. But then when it gets to like the second one, it's like rock and roll horror, and it's just not the same. It's like hairband horror.
Watching? What were we watching? We were watching something, and there was a clip of Chucky like biting a lady in the arm, and she was like freaked out by it. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, it's a movie where a serial killer takes the body of a doll." I was like, "It's dumb." She's like, "Yeah, I'll never watch that." I'm like, "Okay."
I hate those movies too. I don't know.
What about you, Baba?
Maybe the approach that you aren't taking is the one my parents had with me, which is why I've never seen half those.
Well, like when I was six, I vividly remember this. The first like scary movie I ever saw was Poltergeist at 6 years old.
Christ, dude.
And the scene where the skull comes out of the closet, where like they pull the girl out, and like they have the rope around the mom, and she goes in and she grabs the kid and they pull her out, and then the skull comes ripping out of the closet and like screams in the face. Scared me to death. So it's just what you're exposed to. What about you, Wab? Because I think you have the youngest one out of all of us.
Yeah, she's like 3, so like I'm not there yet. Like I'm trying. She can't sit still through a whole movie yet, but she'll watch like TV for a while with me because it's like quicker cuts or what. I don't know. Like I tried like watching. I'm like, oh, let's watch Encanto. Like that song Bruno slaps. And
oh my
like,
god, it's the best movie ever.
And after like 3 minutes, she's like, I want to watch this. I want to watch Chicken Squad. I'm like, come on, like come on, like we'll try again later.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I still haven't seen it because I have so much family trauma. I'm afraid to watch it.
Dude, that song goes so hard though.
My wife has seen it and is like, I can't get through it because it's so like it hits home so hard. And I was like, oh.
That's what Disney does.
You know what? Disney is so good.
I know, right? Like I want to get her to like watch those. So like I've watched like 3 Caballeros with her, which is like I love that movie from when I was younger. I watched Prince and the Pauper with Mickey, which she loved. Dude, I had
a weird childhood. Yeah,
dude, I went deep in the Disney catalog. You think I got this level of Disney love by watching Beauty and the Beast only? I mean, my wife kind of did, but no, I was in it to win it. But yeah, like I'm trying to like introduce that, but like she's like picking up on things, so I know like right now I have to be very mindful. Like there was a point like when she was like tiny and squishy and a ball, and I could do whatever I wanted. I could watch I watched the whole Band of Brothers and Pacific, and a bunch of war movies when I was on paternity leave with her because like the kids don't know what's going on. And then I got to the point where I had to be mindful of what I was watching because you can't start exposing these kids to pew pew. Also, I wasn't allowed to watch anime at a certain point because we wanted her to not pick up like Japanese.
Are you Japanese?
Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, well, I was watching like anime because I'm like, oh, I have all this time, but like she's trying to learn English, so like that would like go in like direct. Like we didn't want to mess with like her speech development. She can learn Japanese later if she wants to, but like
she could have been 3 or 4 years old, fluent in Japanese.
I don't know Japanese. How am I supposed to like child? She goes in, be like, oh man, like does she speak Japanese? Like, do you speak Japanese? And I'm like, no.
Like, yes, we watch Attack on the Titan all the time.
I just watched a bunch of cartoons that she picked up on. No. But
Your daughter's like at 5 years old and she's like decoding Persona and
Yeah,
westernizing each Persona game.
yeah, no, I can play Haiku in 3DS because she can localize it for me.
That's right.
That's the real true gamer play. But yeah, I'm not there yet, but I'm seeing that I have to be very mindful of what's on TV. Because she knows, and it's weird because you don't think kids pick up on things, but I'm learning that they do. And I'm assuming they hold it against you at some point, which I'm being very mindful of. But I think that's all the topics we had for
That's
today.
it, baby.
I think we
You
made
got
it.
the touch. What movie? You got the power. Yeah.
Osmosis Jones. The
Come on,
music.
Pez. Think about it. Hot Rod picks up Spike and he takes him down. You
Oh.
got the touch. And then
Ghost
Optimus
Rider.
Prime picks up the thing. And
Oh.
it's also Dirk Diggler and Boogie Nights, but still. Do you know that the soundtrack in Dirk Diggler, there's 3 songs that are also in Transformers the movie? It's like the greatest thing ever. Like when I was watching that movie, and we're ending it talking about Dirk Diggler. It's my time
your
to
big
shine.
what?
Or
Joe Big
the
what?
best. Burt Reynolds has the best line in that whole movie. When he's like, "Can I in the bum?" and he's like, "Do her in the bum."
I remember the
Family
last time I heard
podcast.
about Dirk Diggler was Maz on the radio saying that Crosby with his mustache looked like Dirk Diggler, and I never understood that reference. Is that
Have
true?
you not seen Boogie Nights?
No,
Waba, what is wrong with you, dude?
I
We need
don't.
to
But do I
culture
look
you.
like one who boogies?
She's like, "Can I leave my roller skates on?" He's like, "Whatever."
Yeah, I got.
Dude, you
Well, I
have
mean-
to see that movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it sounds
Coco
sounds
is way
awful.
better
Oh,
than
it sounds
Encanto.
awful. Is it on Netflix?
Waba,
It sounds terrible.
Feel my heat.
Oh,
We gotta
man,
wrap
that
this up
sounds-
before Court
my
gets us in trouble.
heat.
We're a family
That
podcast.
sounds terrible. Oh, guess who's in that? Mark Wahlberg.
Of course he's in that.
Actually, it's the only movie he's done that's very good. Let's be honest. Pez, it is so good, that movie.
I
Think
hate
about
that
how we
guy.
could.
No,
To
he
put the
hates it now
lines
because
in
Marky
that?
Mark's in it.
Think about it. There's so many good one lines in that. Like Burt Reynolds is a rock star in it. It's just so many. And I was giving you the PG version of what the person says about the bum, and it's the funniest thing. Like Pez just.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You
Well,
should watch
that's
it.
on go watch Boogie Nights if you're over 18 apparently. But thank you for joining us today on another episode of 3 Dads and a Console. Again, if you had fun, you can rate us on iTunes or Spotify. Show us some love. It's free.
Feel my heat.
And if you want to see Court singing live, you can check us out when we record every Wednesday at 7:30. Thursday.
Feel the heat.
Every
at-
Wednesday.
I almost said Twitch.
My
At
heat.
youtube.com/3dads-and-a-console. We got that link. So make sure you come by and show us some support.
Oh,
And also,
Um,
next Wednesday, February 23rd, we are giving away in chat a PS5 code for Peppa Pig, courtesy of Outright Games. So be here. We'll be square.
Peppa Pig's actually funny. My daughter started watching it, and it's a funny show.
Can we eat
So-
bacon bits?
Don't bake in the Peppa. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, folks.
Goodbye.